I'm currently on one offer, which I'm
Hmm.
spending my half day. I'm about to start another offer, which I'm going to spend my morning. So I don't know how can I balance both.
Hmm.
I'm already feeling burnt out for being on calls for 6 hours. Right. I'm not able to do that. Right. Keeping the same confidence or already balancing out my life. Right. Or my personal life. And also the sleep is also affecting. And I'm canceling calls basically.
Manoj, how are you?
Hey JD,
Good to see
I'm
you.
good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Welcome to Undeniable Sales One-on-One. My hopes and my intention in doing these coaching sessions is really to, one, increase the number of people I'm able to help outside of the mentorship program. Because of the one-on-one nature of mentorship, I can't take on thousands and thousands of people. But also to really showcase the positive impact of having personalized advice and support. I feel like for myself, I've always needed that mentor that kind of knows me and knows my situation and is not just giving me cookie cutter advice. And lastly, I hope to inspire and help some people who have experienced similar challenges that you are facing. So, how this works, what you'll do is you'll share one main challenge, situation, or goal. And for about 15 minutes or so, I will give you whatever guidance and support that I can provide. And hopefully you walk away with some actionable steps. How's that sound?
Sounds great. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Of course.
I
Thanks
feel
for showing up.
so excited.
Okay, so what challenge or situation or goal would you like to speak about today?
So I'm currently on one offer, which I'm
Hmm.
spending my half day. I'm about to start another offer, which I'm going to spend my morning. So I don't know how can I balance both.
Hmm.
I'm I'm already feeling burnt out for being on calls for 6 hours. Right. I'm not able to do that. Right. Keeping the same confidence or already balancing out my life, right, or my personal life, and also the sleep is also affecting, and I'm canceling calls basically. I'm not able to get the confidence anymore, right?
Okay,
I'm,
so
I'm
I appreciate you
that's my
sharing this
situation.
because I think it's a very common challenge. And there's a couple things, right? It would be very easy for me to talk about the benefit of multiple offers because I experienced it in my career. But one of the challenges I have with a lot of trainers is they share their preference and they make it so that everybody thinks they have to do what they did. Although it was very beneficial for me, I think when, how, who, all of those things matter. So the first thing that I would explore, I don't know if you've ever seen those like restaurant makeover shows, but like Gordon Ramsay, and basically they go into a struggling restaurant and it's in massive debt. And one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of those restaurant owners, their restaurant is struggling, and what they think is the solution is launching a second restaurant. And then both restaurants struggle, and even more because they're allocating their resources to too much, right? So the first thing I would want to explore is if you're not performing well, or if you feel already stretched, or there's some personal issues, do you feel like adding a second offer is the solution to those things?
No,
No. So what, and that's good insights, right? So what we have to look at is solving for X. And I think this is really important because you have great awareness of the things, right? And that's why you brought it up, because there's some hesitation there, right? Because typically what's going to happen is all of those problems are going to come into the second offer, and then you're going to be more tired and lack more confidence and cancel more. And probably what's going to happen are both going to fall, right? So although I believe that multiple offers has a lot of benefits, what it doesn't solve is issues in the core offer, right? If there's a problem in my core offer, adding a secondary offer is only going to cause more problems, right? So the first thing that I'm looking at is, one, is there an ability to perform in this offer? What are the issues, right? So the first thing I'm doing is a bit of an offer selection process on my current offer. I'm doing a bit of an audit. Is this the right offer? Are there other people performing better than me? have I maximized this offer? Before I go for a second offer, have I maximized the income opportunities on my first offer? Because oftentimes, right, even though we want that second offer, there's still opportunity there, right? So we have to look at these things. Am I the top performer? Am I the only performer? Are there major critical errors and problems in the business? Maybe it makes sense to find a new offer to replace that first offer, right? So if you were to look at it objectively, and sometimes it can be both, do you think that there's problems in your current offer, or are most of the problems internal? Or both? What do you think?
So the current offer is the insurance is only closing right now. Of course, there was some seasonal closer as well who has a good conversion rate, but he's only taking one call per day.
Okay.
So I'm the guy, right? Their go-to guy next person, which
Okay.
is I'm also doing decent. I took some 6, 7 calls. I took 4 deposits. So they're satisfied with my performance. But I don't know if I can perform like this. Right? It's been 3, 4 years since I have been on calls 7 hours. Right, right. So I'm taking it as a full career now. The closing. Now I'm a bit afraid again.
Okay.
Uh,
So
Again, the second offer also is great. It has a solid case studies. It has a 3 salespeople who are actually making like good money as well. So I want to try
what
both.
is making you want to hang on to the first offer and not just replace it with the second offer?
I have a fear. I might get fired. It's always there. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, I won't, but it's a fear I have, like a
Huh.
limiting belief.
Okay. And I know a lot of people will try and convince you and like build you up, but what if you got fired?
I'm gonna start again.
Yeah. The chances are you might be able to find a better opportunity,
Of course.
right? And you take that positive experience. So it's important. Fear is a great passenger. It's a horrible driver. Okay. So having fear in the passenger seat to me is important because I'm sure that you value courageousness, right? It's an amazing attribute. We look up to heroes. We love movies where someone shows courageousness. Well, it's impossible to have courage without fear. So we want to remove the fear, or sometimes as men, we want to push it down and hide it, right? Pretend it doesn't exist, and then it pops up again, right? What I like to do is just explore it, embrace it, put it in the passenger seat. I'm driving, I'm in control. I'm not led by fear, but I'm not going to pretend it doesn't exist. So what I look at is this is a great opportunity to develop that courageousness, right? So what I like to do is one, explore what would happen if. Is it the end of the world if I get fired? No. I mean, I've had an amazing career. I've been fired multiple times. I've quit, I've got fired, I had disputes with managers and left and stormed out, all these things, right? Lots of things that I thought were going to work out didn't work out, and I got here, right? So, one, you are not defined. Your success is not based on any one opportunity, right? If we fast forward 50, 60 years, you probably would have forgot about this opportunity. It's every moment in this space seems so significant until you zoom out and you realize, like, I couldn't even tell you, the third or fourth or fifth opportunity I had. Right? I forget most of the names, and I thought it was so important. What if I fail? What if this happens? It's insignificant in the grand scheme of things, right? So understanding that, hey, if it totally flops, right, then I learn from that. I apply networking and outreach, I get a better opportunity, and I showcase and develop those skills, and I make the second one work, right? So, and then I look at the probability. The probability of me getting fired just probably low, right? Now, what good can happen, right? So, what I would look at is we want that comfort, we want that security, but that comes from internal, right? We have to develop our confidence, and we're not always going to have confidence in outcome, right? You can't have confidence. When I get on a call, I don't know how it's going to go, right? That's a false sense of confidence. Just like job security is a false sense of confidence because tomorrow they can let me go, the market can explode, there could be an asteroid, I don't know, right? So I have to look at what's in my control, what can I do, right? And what gives me the best chance at success, right? Knowing that if I hold on to something that's not serving me, one, I'm robbing someone else of the opportunity where that is a great opportunity for them. And two, I'm robbing myself of the opportunity to really challenge myself. Right. So what I would recommend in this case is really explore this and weigh out the pros and cons of staying in your current offer versus and balancing both, which it sounds like there's some cons, right? Versus, is this secondary offer significantly better than your first? And does it give you a best chance at hitting your goals? If it does, what I would recommend first is replacing your current offer. Get great at this offer, but also work, that will give you some time to work through some of the personal aspects, improving your confidence, your skills, right? You're going to be around other performers, which you can feed off of and learn. You're going to be in a different environment, which sounds more competitive. All of those things are really positive. Now, what I would do in the future, right? If you take that secondary offer, and I don't know the situation deeply, but I'm just recommending kind of the process that I would go through. Now, as I start to get good in that offer, I'm going to see what the limitations are. So when I took on secondary offers, what I found most people struggle with is they take a job that requires, let's say, 70% of your time. Right? Now they look for a secondary job, and that secondary job also requires 70% of your time. Well, basic math, I know a lot of people will say 110%. You don't have 110%. You have 100%. That's it, right? So what they do is they find two great jobs, but they don't fit together. So when you get to a point, you've maximized the opportunity you're in, you've worked through some of the personal challenges, and you feel like you're performing and kind of maxed out that opportunity. Now what you have to do is an inventory of what's left. So if this offer is taking 70% of my time, I only have 30%. So what I have to do is now go sell that 30% to another company. The problem is most people go out and apply for jobs, and most jobs are set at full-time, part-time. What I did instead is reached out to businesses directly. I said, hey, this is what's happening on my current project. These are my results. This is what I'm working on. I feel like I have some bandwidth. Now, I'm just going to be totally upfront. I'm not going to be able to put 50 hours a week in. Here's where I think I can benefit. And I'm talking their language. I'm talking, instead of I can only work, like a lot of people, they already limit and have this negative talk about what they can offer. So they'll say, oh, I can only work part-time. I can only work evenings. I can only work these hours. Well, all of a sudden it sounds like a loss. But what I want to do is position it as a value, because my time is valuable and I can make a positive impact. I may not be able to make a 50-hour a week positive impact, but I have to believe that them working with me is better than them not working with me, that any time I give them is valuable time. So how I would position it is, I feel like I have some extra bandwidth to dedicate to another offer. Now, the good thing about what I offer is I work a lot of the hours that most salespeople don't. So you may have found that it's hard to get your salespeople to open up early mornings or late evenings or weekends. Those are actually the times that I cover the most. So what I can do, we'll start out, I would say, around 10 to 15 hours a week, and I'll work some of the kind of low impact time that most salespeople don't work. I'll open up that coverage. The beautiful thing is I don't need you to be responsible for filling my calendar. I have another opportunity. So you don't feel any pressure if lead flow's down. You're not gonna, hear me complain, but I'll give you that extra exposure on your calendar. How's that sound? All of a sudden now I've positioned it as a value add and the lights go off. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I do have a lot of salespeople who don't want to work weekends or evenings. Now all of a sudden they're thinking about the value rather than the restriction. But I think the first is fix the core problem. Don't start a second restaurant if the first is in debt, right? Focus on solving for X. What are the problems that you need to work through, right? Then when you feel like you're maximized performance on that opportunity, then see what's left and go out and sell that to a business owner. Go pitch them the value of working with you for 5 or 10 hours a week, which is extremely valuable. How's that sound?
That sounds great. That sounds really great. Really helpful.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this question. I think it's really important. And again, we have to understand the difference between preference and principle, because a lot of people, like I've heard really, really successful people in this industry say, oh, you can't work multiple offers. What they're really saying is working one offer worked well for me. That's all they're saying. I couldn't figure out a way to make multiple offers work, and I'm sharing my experience. I've also had other trainers that say you have to have 2 offers. The experience of both of those people is true. I've had my own experience. I always work multiple offers, but that doesn't mean that it's universal, right? That would be like saying, I'm diabetic, I take insulin, so insulin is good for everybody, right? And so you have to be able to sift through the information and understand what is the challenges that I'm facing, what is the needle mover, what's the opportunity, and what works for me. How can I translate this advice to work for me? So I really appreciate you sharing that. I think it's a very common question that has a lot of misconceptions around it. So I think this will really help, and I hope this has helped you.
It definitely helps me, JD. I
Perfect.
really,
If you
really
need anything
appreciate it.
else, you just let me know.
I just want to share my win, right? Like 2 months ago, I joined your L1 program, right? It was really beneficial, and I attended one interview. I failed, but I learned something. The second interview I went through, I just cracked it, smashed it, and the third interview as well. Purely, I'm just so grateful for you for helping me with that. I never thought, I can actually crack these top offers. I'm
I
really,
love it.
really grateful for you.
It's
And
been
and,
great
and
to
I'm
see your
gonna use
progress.
this experience to land even more great offers. Right.
Yeah, that's it. We're just scratching the surface, my man. So anything you need, you let me know.
Definitely. We should work in the future. I'm looking
Awesome.
forward to it.
Awesome. I appreciate you, my man. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Have a great day, you too. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Of course. Bye now. All right, that's it. I want to thank you for watching today, and I hope you received some value from this training session. Make sure to like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified when we release the next training session. If you would like to be featured on a future training session, make sure to join our remote sales community on Facebook. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover on a future training session, just leave a comment below. Appreciate you. Onwards and upwards.